Let's discuss the key challenges in trade compliance during export and import. Trade compliance during import and export processes is essential to avoid any challenges that can arise. Here are the 20 common complications to be aware of. 1. Incorrect or incomplete documentation, including customs forms and invoices, can lead to shipment delays or rejection. Business operations activities involved in documentation include collecting and verifying information, creating and submitting forms, and tracking the status of documents. It is important for businesses to have accurate documentation to avoid compliance issues and penalties. Key persona involved in documentation include import-export managers, customs brokers, and compliance officers. Many IT software customizations options exist to automate the documentation process, including electronic document management systems and customs compliance software. 2. Violations of trade embargoes or sanctions can result in significant penalties and fines. Businesses must be aware of trade restrictions and regulations to avoid compliance issues. Violations can result in damaged reputations, fines, and even imprisonment. Key persona involved in trade restrictions and sanctions include compliance officers, legal counsel, and export managers. IT software customizations options include software for export compliance screening and restricted party screening. 3. Failure to comply with import or export licensing requirements can lead to delays or denied shipments. Businesses must obtain the necessary licenses and permits for importing and exporting goods. Compliance with licensing requirements involves understanding licensing regulations, obtaining licenses and permits, and tracking expiration dates. Key persona involved in licensing include import-export managers and compliance officers. IT software customizations options include licensing and permit management software. 4. Failure to properly classify goods under the Harmonized System, that is, HS, code can result in inaccurate duty or tariff assessments. The HS code is a standardized system for classifying goods for international trade. Proper classification involves identifying the correct HS code for each product and staying up to date with changes in the classification system. Key persona involved in HS code classification include import-export managers, compliance officers, and customs brokers. IT software customizations options include software for HS code classification and duty and tariff management. 5. Failure to comply with labeling and packaging requirements can lead to rejections or delays at customs. Proper labeling and packaging involves understanding country-specific regulations and complying with them. Key persona involved in labeling and packaging include import-export managers, compliance officers, and packaging engineers. IT software customizations options include labeling software and packaging design software. 6. Inaccurate product descriptions can lead to misclassification and customs delays. Proper product descriptions involve accurately describing each product's characteristics, including its intended use and materials. Key persona involved in product descriptions include import-export managers, compliance officers, and product managers. IT software customizations options include product information management software and content management software. 7. Incomplete or inaccurate information on shipping documents can lead to shipment delays or rejection. Proper shipping documents involve accurately and completely filling out documents such as bills of lading and commercial invoices. Key persona involved in shipping documents include import-export managers, compliance officers, and logistics coordinators. IT software customizations. Options include shipping documentation software and transportation management systems. 8. Failure to comply with country-specific regulations, such as those relating to product safety, health, and environmental standards, can lead to compliance issues and penalties. It is important for businesses to understand and comply with country-specific regulations to avoid issues. Key persona involved in country-specific regulations include import-export managers, compliance officers, and product managers. IT software customizations. Options include regulatory compliance software and environmental management software. 9. Failure to comply with the requirements of free trade agreements or preferential trade programs can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Free trade agreements and preferential trade programs involve reducing or eliminating tariffs on certain goods. Compliance involves understanding the regulations and rules of each agreement and program. Key persona involved in free trade agreements and preferential trade programs include import-export managers, compliance officers, and trade analysts. IT software customizations. Options include software for managing free trade agreements and preferential trade programs. Incomplete or inaccurate information on export control documents can lead to export control violations. Export control documents involve obtaining the necessary permits and licenses for exporting goods. Compliance involves understanding the regulations and rules of each country and obtaining the necessary documentation. Key persona involved in export control documents include import-export managers, compliance officers, and legal counsel. IT software customizations. Options include software for export control documentation and compliance screening. Non-compliance with data privacy and security regulations, such as GDPR or HIPAA, can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Data privacy and security regulations involve protecting personal and sensitive information. Compliance involves understanding the regulations and rules of each country and implementing appropriate data privacy and security measures. Key persona involved in data privacy and security include compliance officers, legal counsel, and IT managers. IT software customizations. Options include data privacy and security software and risk management software. Counterfeiting or trademark infringement can lead to compliance issues and penalties. It is important for businesses to protect their intellectual property and respect the intellectual property of others. Compliance involves identifying and reporting instances of counterfeiting or trademark infringement. Key persona involved in counterfeiting and trademark infringement include legal counsel, compliance officers, and brand managers. IT software customizations. Options include software for intellectual property management and brand protection. Inaccurate valuation of goods can lead to underpayment or overpayment of duties. Proper valuation involves accurately valuing each product for customs purposes. Key persona involved in valuation include import-export managers, compliance officers, and logistics coordinators. IT software customizations. Options include software for duty and valuation management. Incomplete or inaccurate country of origin declarations can lead to customs delays or rejected shipments. Proper country of origin declarations involve accurately identifying and documenting the country of origin for each product. Key persona involved in country of origin declarations include import-export managers, compliance officers, and product managers. IT software customizations. Options include software for country of origin management and compliance screening. Failure to obtain necessary certifications or permits, such as health or safety certificates, can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Certifications and permits involve obtaining the necessary documentation for importing and exporting goods. Compliance involves understanding the regulations and rules of each country and obtaining the necessary documentation. Key persona involved in certifications and permits include import-export managers, compliance officers, and legal counsel. IT software customizations options include software for certification and permit management. Failure to comply with intellectual property laws and regulations can lead to compliance issues and penalties. It is important for businesses to protect their intellectual property and respect the intellectual property of others. Compliance involves understanding and complying with intellectual property laws and regulations. Key persona involved in intellectual property compliance include legal counsel, compliance officers, and brand managers. IT software customizations options include software for intellectual property management and brand protection. Failure to comply with anti-bribery and corruption laws, such as the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, that is, FCPA, can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Anti-bribery and corruption laws involve preventing and detecting bribery and corruption in business transactions. Compliance involves understanding and complying with anti-bribery and corruption laws. Key persona involved in anti-bribery and corruption compliance include legal counsel, compliance officers, and audit managers. IT software customizations options include software for anti-bribery and corruption compliance and risk management. Failure to comply with export documentation requirements, such as the Electronic Export Information, that is, EEI, filing requirements, can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Export documentation requirements involve properly documenting and reporting exports. Compliance involves understanding the regulations and rules of each country and obtaining the necessary documentation. Key persona involved in export documentation include import-export managers, compliance officers, and legal counsel. IT software customizations options include software for export documentation management and compliance screening. Violations of anti-dumping and countervailing duties regulations can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Anti-dumping and countervailing duties regulations involve preventing unfair trade practices. Compliance involves understanding and complying with anti-dumping and countervailing duties regulations. Key persona involved in anti-dumping and countervailing duties compliance include import-export managers, compliance officers, and legal counsel. IT software customizations options include software for duty and tariff management and compliance screening. Inaccurate or incomplete record keeping can lead to compliance issues and penalties. Proper record keeping involves accurately and completely documenting all transactions and compliance activities. Key persona involved in record keeping include compliance officers and audit managers. IT software customizations options include software for compliance management and document management. It's essential to be aware of these potential complications and to have a robust trade compliance program in place to avoid them. By doing so, you can ensure that your import and export processes are efficient, legally compliant, and minimize the risk of challenges that could disrupt your business. We really thank you for your time spent on this session. Feel free to meet our partners by sending an inquiry email to contact us at t24global.com. Most of our partners have 15 to 20 years industry experience. So, please get in touch for any quick, managed business process and IT consulting needs.